We spoke about the first family's new healthy lifestyle, and she believes the lessons she's learned can help to change the way we view health care.
Oh, yeah.
For First Lady Michelle Obama and her family, eating right has been a daily struggle.
So this is the rainbow. Who had rainbow?
Until a wake-up call last year during the campaign.
I was doing what most people were doing. I maybe cooked once a week. We were going out to dinner for takeout maybe 2-3 times a week. You know, you've got the quick lunch, you know, desserts, a lot of easy fast foods that you could just put in a sack and go. And I saw it starting to take a toll on my kids' health. And fortunately, I had a great pediatrician who raised the red flag and said, you may want to sort of really think through how these kids are eating. So we just personally, in the process of the campaign, we started eliminating processed foods. We ate out less, we cooked more, we added more fruits and vegetables, we took out sugary foods, and we not only saw a difference in us, ourselves, all the family physically, but we felt better.
You're very honest in saying that you had to live through it, that you had to be tapped on the shoulder and say, you know, this, you're going down the wrong road here. How do you get people who, you know, it's very difficult, it's very expensive, they don't have the time, the same trappings that you fell in, some of the same trappings, so how do you grab them by the shoulders and say, you know, this is something that is so important, you have to do this?
Really, in my household, it wasn't my kids that were the problem, it was me. It was my eating habits, it was my desire to do things quickly. They were the ones that picked up on these changes and accepted them and embraced them pretty readily. So we started thinking, why don't we start with kids? Why don't we start talking with young people before these habits are ingrained about what it means to grow your own food, what it means to eat something that's grown locally? Because what I found was that kids are very simple. They eat what tastes good. And if a carrot tastes good, they'll eat it.
A large chocolate shake?
Yes, the family enjoys their ice cream and burgers, but Mrs. Obama is quick to point out that moderation is key.
It's really about balance and choices. That's what I'm trying to teach my kids. I love French fries, my favorite food. It's not about never ever. There's some people who make that choice. We're not one of those. I love food. Do you really need to have dessert every night? If you have dessert at lunch, do you really need it at dinner? If you're thirsty, do you really want a sugary drink? Or what about water? You know, those are the kind of conversations that we have. What I tell my kids they're eating lunch at school now is consider having a vegetable with your sandwich. Think about it, because you're supposed to have a vegetable. And we kind of have this discussion, and it's many times they don't have the vegetable, but they're thinking about it.
What's their favorite vegetable?
Peas and broccoli. I think those are, Sasha likes peas, and Malia's a pretty big broccoli fan.
People know how healthy you are. They know how healthy the president. They see that you all work out. They see that, you know, I was over at the basketball court, that's a tennis court as well. How strong of a message do you think that is, as busy as both of you are, that you make it a priority in your lives?
I hope it has an effect. The truth is, people are busy, and they're stressed, and they're tired. That I know. And far be it for me to be a part of adding any more stress to anyone's lives, because Michelle Obama did it, that means I have to do it. I have a lot of help. I've got a mother here. I've got resources. You know, I would be remiss in not acknowledging that. But I would also urge people to think about the small things that they can do within their control. I feel more invigorated when I'm following a healthy routine. And if I feel that way, I can only imagine how my kids feel. You know, this is something that we can take on in this country.
This is something that Michelle Obama is very passionate about, and she was casually dressed because she was literally heading out to the garden there at the White House that she planted with kids from a local elementary school, Bancroft Elementary School, and they were just beaming that day. And they had been to the White House a few times, and they were harvesting it. It was about 1,100 square feet, and it cost about $200 to plant. They used a lot of organic materials, so you can actually see the garden from if you're passing by the South Lawn. And this is all part of the Obama administration's health initiative to combat childhood obesity. And a lot of these children go back to their families, and they have this discussion with them.
Right, and making it fun, making it the
exciting thing to do, to see something grow, which I always have trouble with. But they're doing great.
You don't have a
anyway.
green thumb, do you? Nah.
Heart disease is the #1 killer of women in this country. 10 years ago,
osteoporosis and arteriosclerosis and cancer and autoimmune disease.
The number of people with diagnosed and undiagnosed diabetes will nearly double.
General, this could be the first generation of children in the United States that lives less than its parents.
Heart disease, as far as I'm concerned, is an absolutely toothless paper tiger that need never, ever exist.
If everyone were to adopt this, I really believe we could cut healthcare costs by 70 to 80%. When I was young, we promoted our product because it was nature's most perfect food. But it took on a slightly different twist as time passed. I mean, it's the most perfect food for cats.
I mean, this was so provocative, this information. We could turn on and turn off cancer growth just by adjusting the level of intake of that protein.
Because they are all Chinese. Genetically, they are all the same. Why they have so much difference in single cancer mortality?
The ones they sent me were sicker than I had thought.
When I had the second heart attack, the doctor said I should prepare for death. I said, do you really want me to buy a rocking chair and just sit there and rock away and wait? And he just looked at me and he said, yes, that's just exactly what I'm saying.
On the one hand, I'm coming from the scientific route, getting some ideas. He's coming from the clinical route. Here's the science, here's the clinical evidence. Put the two together is amazing.
What skulls do you have?
I want you to reverse all your medical diseases, the ones that we can reverse, and most of yours we could. To me, the answer is just absolutely so simple, it's criminal.
The greatest gift that you could possibly give to your family, if you can make them be aware of the incredible power to avoid life's most painful events. You just don't have to have those kinds of events.
I can say this with a great deal of confidence, that our national authorities are simply excluding this concept of nutrition from the debate and the discussion in order to protect the status quo.